Hope you guys are enjoying your afternoon there. So, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm now on TikTok. I'll be dropping that information sometime this week. But I'm so excited to talk to you about how you can get started investing. I talk a whole lot about it. I mentioned a whole lot about saving, build an emergency fund, uh, buy the index fund, even go into crypto if that's what you like, day trade if you like, Forex, you got to start investing. But I want to put a little bit more framework around what's going on. So there's so much to be talked about when you're looking at information, but to be honest, how do you really start investing? Obviously, the first way is simply you got to start saving. You got to put something away. At the end of the day, that's what puts you in a place where you can invest. If you can put $10, $5, $1, even your change, there are so many different ways where you can now invest in the stock market with just the change that you have from purchases or carryover from rounding up. And those are ways to get yourself started. You can do that through from M1 Finance, Chime, Betterment. These are all different apps that you can use to download and get yourself going. Next, I want you to think about where you're going to invest. Start to really learn and look at your investing options. Obviously, you got the stock market, but that's just a widespread way to invest. You have real estate. You can invest in someone's business. You can start your own business. Understand what way you're planning to invest and how that's going to be perpetual. Because no matter where you start, eventually you're going to want to spread your money from an investment standpoint over. If you started with the business, you're going to want to put it in real estate and you're going to want to put it in the stock market just from the sustainability portion so that you don't have to do as much work producing money as well. And it's important that you realize all those different options and become to find a way that's most comfortable for you so that you're prepared for how you plan to invest. You can start investing in the stock market at any amount. And that's why I always encourage you with the stock market. You can do ETFs or you can do index funds. Index funds, that's the one piece in the stock market where you can buy fractional shares or whatever dollar amount, even change 21.50. But this will allow you to continually keep that habit going of saving when it's most pressing. And the fact is, when you're beginning to save, the best thing you could do is not put yourself in a position of, hey, I don't have enough to buy. Well, you do. If you got $1, if you got some change in your pocket, if you got something left over, buy right away. When I was trying to really increase my savings rate last year, that was one strategy that I will tell you really catapulted. So I may make a purchase and I'll get $5, $10 back above what I normally was investing in a month. But those extra amounts that every time I got money back or every time I had extra, I was just throwing it in there. That nearly doubled what I invested for the year just because of the frequency. And you got to think how often you purchase. I talk about that a lot. You purchase a lot throughout the day for anything, especially if you have a family, kids, home, you live by yourself. Everyone spends their money differently, but the fact is nothing is taken away that the purchase frequency of every person is a lot. It's a lot more than you would normally save in a month. And so it's important to use that behavior and use that opportunity as an opportunity to help you save. You can also use different apps like obviously Webull and Public. These are great platforms that are similar to your Robinhood, similar to your Cash App, all those different things. But this gives you another option that I've seen work. And obviously, when you start looking at how you may have Robinhood and you may have a situation where they limit what you're trying to buy, and it's through no fault of your own, but you want to make sure that when you're ready to buy, there's no barriers to that. So what do you do next when you start investing? You sit back and you start looking at, okay, so first we're going to take, for example, the stock market, and that's where we're going to probably spend majority of the time today. How can I invest in the stock market. You can invest based off what are potential new up and coming stocks that people are going for. You can invest using what's called options trading. You can do regular trading. You can do forex trading, cryptocurrency. You can do that. The Bitcoins, the Dogecoin, the Ethereum. So many different options. You can obviously do the more traditional right of the index fund versus the mutual fund. The mutual fund has someone in the background, financial advisor, who's picking these stocks. The index fund tracks a particular index, which is a sector of the market, but it there's no one picking these stocks. And what happens is the fee is actually a little bit lower. So how do you start? Well, obviously you want to start with what's going to get you the best return on your money. Well, if you have a 401k and you're getting a match, make sure you're getting at least a match first. Get that free money. Despite all the other ways to invest, dollar for dollar, doubling your money will never be the worst return. You get that almost instantaneously by most employers. And then if you could take it a step further, if you're in an opportunity where you look at your income and you look at your tax situation and you're able to do that Roth 401k, that just one ups your ability to earn valuable return, because you got to think of the Roth 401k as this situation down the road. If you have $2 million in your portfolio and $1 million was made from those matching portion that the job matched, that would be pre-tax. But then if you had $1 million that you were putting in, that means that's tax-free if it was in the Roth 401k. And obviously, you want to make money without having to spend money once you made it. Once you've got that money and once you're ready to draw it down, you don't want to pay any taxes or any fees or anything. You just want to pull your money out and go right to it. And it seems so simple, but these are options that, while again, they are traditional, so overlooked. And as far as accessibility, so many people are actually giving you the access now. So I would encourage you, really look at your particular employer so that you can go ahead and make sure you're getting a part of that actual 401k. The next thing, when you're first starting out and you're just trying to dip your toe in and you just want to get going, I would always suggest using the index fund. Why? Because it's going to give you the exposure. Why? It's going to spread your money over across pretty much all the stocks you would probably pick anyway, but they're all grouped in one thing. And so if you have a situation where you're just getting started investing and then a dip in the market happens, which it can happen, even though you're gaining money overall, day by day, money fluctuates. It can be up, it can be down. And so when you're a beginner investor and starting to get acclimated to this new style of dealing with your money, it's important that you put something in place, you put a measure in place, and you put your money in a place that not only is going to be successful for you, but allows you time to develop that keen sense of what the market can do. And that's the most important thing I think you can get out of the index fund, because we don't want you to stop just as you're getting started. What else can you do besides that? Well, you want to start to look at ways that you can free up money. What are things that you are paying for now that essentially, hey, I can get rid of this. It would not only give me more cash flow in the month, but it gives me more money to invest. Because the fact is, as you get started in investing, the real power in your investing is going to be the ability for you to have money to actually invest. What can you do to actually grow your wealth? And the fact is, everyone, number one, doesn't want to deal with real estate on the end, but doesn't have the credit capacity to be able to take on those investments. So from an accessibility standpoint, the stock market is most accessible for all, because you don't have to have any type of income limit. You don't have to have a large sum of money to get in the game and get going and start taking advantage of the return. So that's why I will always, and that's what I have my money in, total stock market index fund. If you're at Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Vanguard, these are companies that I've found that I've always told people to check out, because they have the staff and measures and support in place that they will help you become a better investor and learn the nuances of this new complexity. Because as your wealth grows, more questions and situations you have to be aware of. And basically, it starts with shades of gray, but eventually the shades of gray portion grows because different levels of wealth, different levels of money, different levels of income open up different opportunities where you can take advantage of different things. Not to mention that it also opens opportunities that you may be subject to more different taxes. No matter how simple you try to keep your situation, it's always when you're growing wealth, it's gonna get complex. So I want you to start this way. Use that total stock market index fund. It's grown on average 10% for the last 50 years. It tracks the US economy. It's 3,500 stocks, the Apple, the Facebook, the Tesla, the Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett company, Zoom, all the places that you could really think of that likely, if you look around your home, you probably have a product or service that you didn't purchase from one of these people that you're investing in. But that is a good way to get you going. And then as you start to learn, read more books, listen to more podcasts, listen to more things to help you develop that language and that financial wellness to where you understand how to interpret these concepts and how to apply them to your situation. That's where you can start to really develop a strategy that either you want to keep on the road you're going or you discover something that you're way more comfortable with and have the appetite for from a financial standpoint. Before I wrap this up, I want to discuss that you can do all these things. You can begin to invest. And the fact is, well, over this past year, we've seen an increase in the awareness of what investing and the opportunities that investing can happen. But still, the fact remains, majority of people are really not saving enough. And I find it always a catch 22 because we always try to use the stats and figures of how much are you saving now and how much should you save and where is the average person saving. And that's great. But the fact is the average person just isn't saving enough to build a level of wealth that will compensate you or that person when they reach financial independence age, whatever that may be. And that's very important because number one, you can't necessarily always lean on the Social Security aspect because number one, that was meant to be icing on the cake or aid in your retirement bucket. Social Security is also looking at the 35 highest years that you've made money. And then they have a prorated they have a prorated table that if you didn't, in order to get those highest amounts of Social Security payout, you had to make the 100. Right now, it's the 140,000 is the highest. So it's going to be very important that yes, you start saving and you start getting into that investing format now. But it's even more important that once you start putting that $10, $5, $20, $100 increasing, you want to increase that rate to where you're 25, 30, almost 40% of your income and living a fruitful life because again you're going to need that type of firepower to get your level of wealth off the ground. But again, what you determine what level of wealth you want, you determine what you want to do, how you want to do it, where, how much you want to save for, and what is going to be enough for you. But if you're doing that and you're going to continue trying to increase your savings rate, that means you need to increase your income and decrease the unnecessary expenses. Decrease, I'm not saying don't have the nice phone, don't have the nice car, don't have all these different things that we like to enjoy to make our lifestyle a little bit more comfortable. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't allow that to be subtracted from your budget every single month. And there are opportunities to do that. Also, I still, before I go, want to let you know this is still an excellent time to be looking for that next role for you to level up your income. Now, I will tell you, if you're a parent, whether you're married or single, whatever the case may be, time-wise, it is time-consuming to look for another job, and it is tougher the more responsibilities that you have. And sometimes that can allow you to feel stuck because you're like, oh, I'm just so exhausted. I'm so exhausted. But I would encourage you, look at your schedule. Look, really write down a time management table for you per day, and then set aside 30 minutes, hour where you can bust out 3, 4, 5 application resumes, whatever you can do to get your income up. Because the fact is, the longer you stay unhappy and unfulfilled at your current role, it's only going to be a downhill thing until you're forced. And that's what you don't want to happen. You don't want to be forced to make a decision that leaves you with options that you just don't want to pick from. That it's the best of the rest, or it's not that good to choose from. So I hope that helps you get you going if you're just starting your investment journey. I appreciate everyone that's in the group. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and leave a comment below. Tell me about your journey, what you're investing in, what are things you found that's helpful. I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.